Kingsman, The Golden Circle. Great. It was great stuff. Great fun. Not as good as the first one. I want to say that right away. Though director Matthew Vaughn makes his return. It was a lot of fun. The problem is, and I'm just going to say this much, possible spoilers. So please, if you don't want to hear spoilers, I'm warning you now. Okay? Okay. So again, just spoilers. Harry makes a return. You saw it in the trailer. Colin Firth's character. Eggsy, Merlin are back. As is Charlie, who was, the rogue agent that, failed in the recruiting, but yet, got be. It was a whole bunch. It was a whole bunch of stuff that led to him being kind of the dick of the whole thing. There's a new villain, obviously, because Samuel Jackson's character died. Played by Julianne Moore, named Poppy. She wants to unleash a drug upon the world, and has unleashed a drug upon the world. And the only way to get the cure is to legalize all drugs. The worst kind, the best kind, as if there are a best kind of drug. Tax them and everything, but legalize all drugs. And then she, and they sign a deal where she cannot be charged with anything, and she has basically, essentially total power, and can be seen as the bright visionary that she is, because she wants to be seen as a bright visionary for earning all the money she has. In the movie, she says $250 billion empire. She has this utopia of 50s diner stuff and hair salons and everything, where she brands people with a golden circle, hence the title, The Golden Circle. And she keeps Elton John on the island, which, don't think too much into it, to entertain her. She's kidnapped Elton John, who really looks like he is having a lot of fun in this. I mean, Elton John looked like he was having a blast. And it was honestly a blast to watch the guy. The guy's an incredible entertainer, really did well in this movie. I mean, he's been in other movies before, but I'm just saying, he clearly was having a lot of fun here. Channing Tatum wasn't in the movie as much as you might think. He was in the movie for a bit, and then got drugged, and then got cryogenically frozen, and then got brought back, like near the end. Again, spoilers, but Merlin, played by Mark Strong, does not make it to the end of the movie. Near the beginning, there's this, actually in the beginning, Eggsy gets in this giant car race, in his car chase with, where Charlie has a robotic arm and is trying to, because his arm gets blown off instead of his head getting blown up in the first movie. So he's got a robotic arm, thanks to Poppy, who has, pretty much brought him back to life. And he's her hired henchman and wants revenge on Eggsy for, what he did, because, all villains don't admit that the hero actually was right to say what he said and do what he did, because Charlie was pretty much an asshole. But one thing I want to say about this movie, and first of all, Halle Berry's in it. Jeff Bridges, did Jeff Bridges have a series of strokes? Because I'm a little worried about the guy. Jeff Bridges, I just don't know. I just don't know what to say. He did fine in this role, but he sounds the same. It's I'm still a little worried that the guy might have serious health issues. I don't know if he does, but I almost need subtitles. I almost need every movie that has him include subtitles in there, because I can't really understand him, even if I listen close, even if nobody else is talking in theater, if nobody else talks during his lines, I can't understand half of what he says. But after the headquarters, but back to the plot, after the headquarters are blown up, the Kingsman headquarters, they discover that if they go to Kentucky, they can meet the statesmen, who are the American side of the Kingsman, and protecting, the U.S. and everything, and, people abroad, even though we hadn't heard of the statesmen before, or at least in that much, detail, and a lot of hijinks ensue and everything. They're planning to take down Poppy, who, again, told the president, you either acquiesce to my wishes, you either do this, I think that's how you pronounce the word, you either do this, or the drugs are going to kill everybody. President accepts them as acceptable losses because he hates drug addicts and puts people in giant cages and or in cages in football stadiums and everything, and just lets them rot because the drug takes effect after 12 hours. A very scary way of putting it, given the current political climate that we're kind of in the U.S. I'm not saying it was done intentionally that way, but it's kind of eerie how it mirrors that whole thing. And then a female president comes in at the end because the other president gets jailed. I'm not a Trump supporter, by the way, but I'm just like, it's weird. I was like, interesting ending there. But let's get down to it. Is it as good as the first one? No. That being said, again, director Matthew Vaughn did well with the first one and this one. Keeps the pace fun, keeps the pace fast, keeps the violence going. Nothing in this movie tops what happened in the church scene with Harry's character, taking out all those, southern churchgoers, which was really, really awesome, by the way. That was a great scene. Great sequence, actually. But from mountaintops in Italy, with riding down a ski lift and everything, to invading the jungles, to getting the headquarters blown up back home, to underwater scenes, trying to escape the police and all that. The first one had a really, really good flow to it. This one at times almost felt like set pieces were just there and sequences were just there. That's not to say that any of it was bad, but this felt almost like a little repetition, a little. Maybe I'm just nitpicking. The movie was overall extremely fun. It was extremely fun. But the problem also lies in the villain, and nothing against Julianne Moore, who is a very great actress. Very great. Very great. And I was really happy to see her in this movie because she looked like she was having a lot of fun with it. Samuel Jackson's villain character in the first one was a lot more fleshed out with proper motives. Sure, Julianne Moore got to state her motives, but the villain almost felt like an afterthought because we were having, Eggsy and Merlin try to bring back Harry because he had been shot in the eye. And Halle Berry, who's in this, and the Statesman, technology, they used, medical techniques and nanobots and everything to restore the brain. The problem is, it was Harry had amnesia, had to get it back and everything, which Eggsy found a really, really cool, inventive way to do it. And of course, you have Eggsy's girlfriend Hannah, Hannah, who gets into the drugs because, of course, how else is Eggsy going to have a proper motivation to go after Poppy? And I mean Poppy the villain, not Poppy like, it's a Mexican drug lord, even though I'm kind of wondering if that might have been a little bit intentional right there. But there was a lot of good here. The thing is, again, about the villain just didn't feel as fleshed out. Like, they were there, they established their motives, they put a guy in a meat grinder, seriously, which was kind of cool. There are robotic dogs, there's a 50s style diner stuff, and there's Elton John entertaining and everything and swearing a lot. There was a lot of swearing in this movie, which was cool because the first one had swearing. I certainly had no fucking problem with swearing, motherfucker. Yeah. But it was good. It was a good, fun, frenetic pace. It's not a deep movie by any stretch of the imagination. Though Eggsy getting through to Harry and bringing Harry back to being the spy that he was and not the regressed age that he was mentally because of the amnesia was kind of moving, but that's because I was attached to these characters. But the movie's not deep by any stretch of the imagination. It's fun, ridiculous, over-the-top, frenetic violence that's going to lead to a third movie. A lot of characters die in this one. Quite a few characters will not make it, to a third one, which is cool. The third one, I think, can be a lot of fun, depending on what kind of trilogy this ends up being. because the third one's inevitable. The way they set it up with Channing Tatum's character, Eggsy and Harry, everything, it's going to work out just fine. I really hope that all those guys make a return because there's a lot of cool stuff. And of course, you got an electric whip. Get an electric whip at one point. That was really, really cool. I really did like that one. The thing is like a lot of it's telegraphed. You can tell who the bad people are right away. Who's going to be the double agent to, screw somebody over. I mean, I knew right away who it was going to be. It's pretty obvious. Yeah, a lot of characters die. A lot of good stuff. But the thing is, there's no real sense of danger. That's the thing. In the first one, you had this whole thing like, obviously, the heroes were going to save the day. But in this one, you're like, okay, they're going to save the day. There's no real danger because there wasn't any danger. It's just nothing felt like as dangerous. It's like it was. If you focus too much on the story, which isn't really all that good outside of Eggsy getting through to Harry and the bond that Eggsy, Harry, and Merlin have, and a couple other characters. There's, besides that bond and, the bond of Eggsy and Hannah, there's not a ton of stuff that's deep, but it's still really good. Because it's entertainment. And that's one thing about this movie. It's entertainment. It's not a movie that tries to be smarter than it thinks it is, or than it actually is, like Mother, which was a god-awful movie. And I will fight anybody if they disagree. I'll fight them with words. I ain't gonna fight them with actions. Kingsman: The Golden Circle was just entertainment. Pure, unadulterated entertainment. Not as great as the first one, but still enjoyable. So that's what I gotta say. Do you agree? Do you disagree with what I said? Like, share, comment, subscribe. Twitter link is in the description. This has been Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin. I will see you soon.